Hi and welcome to Money Matters. I'm Rob Similcare in New York. It is one of the largest fraud cases in history. Bernie Madoff's $50 billion Ponzi scheme that has left a global roster of investors, from retirees on Long Island to the International Olympic Committee to charities worldwide, with severe financial losses. So, could this happen again? And what can you do to avoid being part of another scam? To tell us, we're joined by Jennifer Openshaw. She's the president and co-founder of WeSeed and the CEO of the Family Financial Network. Jennifer, thanks for joining us.
It's great to be here. Thanks.
So how could this have happened to such a broad range of people, both individuals, professionals, nonprofits? How could something like this happen?
Well, I mean, here's a guy who understood that big names matter, and it's amazing that, you know, once you create this social club where everybody is accepted and you've got big name people who are your clients, it's easy to get other people duped into investing your money because they think, gosh, if they did it, then it must be okay for me. And what people forget to do is to mind the store themselves, to ask the tough questions, and to remember that the experts aren't always so experts, and there's some bad guys out there.
You know, the Ponzi scheme, it goes back to Charles Ponzi up in Boston many, many years ago, and it's been done over and over again at varying levels of sophistication. But if you're someone out there who is approached with an investment opportunity, how can you tell if it might be a Ponzi scheme?
Well, first off, if you don't understand what's being sold to you, then you better not put your money into it. You need to make sure you understand it. And there are a lot of investment vehicles out there that are so-called black boxes where they won't share the strategy. It's ooh secret. And that's a huge red flag. A couple other interesting red flags with Bernie Madoff is when some folks went in to meet with him in his offices, he was very secretive. He wouldn't allow people to meet with his traders on the floor, 50 people out there. When people asked about the $15 billion in assets at the time that he supposedly had, he wouldn't share any information. He wouldn't volunteer it. Those are all signs. So if somebody is meeting with an advisor, you want to look for those red flags. Are they really short with their answers, such that they're not even sharing, you know, just basic stuff that you'd want to know? And there's some good questions that people can ask of advisors too. But the most important thing is for people to go to places like WeSeed.com and empower themselves with an understanding of the markets, of stocks, so they can just be smarter and ask the right questions.
Jennifer, you brought a list of some of the classic mistakes that people make and that people did make when getting involved with Bernie Madoff. And one of them is an assumption that people make that, you know, hey, if it's good for this guy, you know, if Steven Spielberg is investing with this guy, then it must be good enough for me.
I mean, isn't that what so many people think? You also had the founder of Bed Bath & Beyond, these big name people, and we think, gosh, it must be okay if they've got their money there. In fact, not only okay, it must be the best kind of vehicle out there, period. And what's interesting about this guy is that he was listed among the top management firms when you went to places like the UK and other global markets. Private bankers would have his firm along with others, and you know, everybody else is doing it, so it must be okay. It's the herd mentality that is a real danger.
Another thing you point out is the danger of believing a good actor, and this guy really seemed to be a very good actor. In fact, he made it seem like it's impossible to get into his fund because it was so exclusive.
Exactly.
Yet, you know, people, of course, were dying to get in, and when they did, this is what happened.
Exactly. I mean, he put on a show, and I think he really understood that that people react to the aura of secrecy and exclusivity. That's really what it is, exclusivity, and that only certain people can get in, and ooh, maybe I'll let you in, and then you feel like you're part of the club, and again, this whole sense that you're investing in something that's better than other things, when in fact, it carried all kinds of risks, and if you had looked under the hood, but you'd really have to take some time, you would have seen some red flags.
Another thing you say, Jennifer, is that people were failing to mind the store. What do you mean by that?
I just think that people were not watching out closely enough for their own investments. That can easily happen. We turn our money over to advisors and we think that it's in good hands. And you always have to be scrutinizing. You always have to be doubting and asking questions. You always have to understand what your money is in, how it's performing compared to appropriate benchmarks, as we call it, or just appropriate other types of investments, so that you have a real gauge of what you're doing. And if the numbers are really good compared to normal investments, then that is a big sign that something must be wrong.
Too good to be true. This guy never loses money. Well, nobody never loses money.
You bet.
So, how do you think this is going to impact people's trust in financial advisors and investment managers down the road? Is this going to change things forever?
I hope it does for the better, because I think that too many people don't take enough personal financial responsibility. And my hope as president of WeSeed.com that the financial crisis and now the Bernie Madoff crisis is going to force people to say, you know what, I've got to pay more attention. My financial future is way too important. People are seeing their 401ks 50% down. They need to get smarter. They need to get empowered. And, the beauty of the internet today is that now it allows people to learn in a collaborative environment where they don't have to be afraid. People do not have to be experts to become smart about investments, and that's what WeSeed's all about.